After her painful divorce from Matt Roloff, Amy's fans had one hope: that she would find happiness again. And when Chris Marek entered her life, it looked like destiny had finally delivered that second chance. Chris wasn't a farmer, he wasn't tied to the Roloff empire. He was different, calm, patient, and genuinely kind. Their relationship blossomed slowly. By 2019, Chris proposed. 2 years later, they exchanged vows in a heartwarming ceremony held on none other than Roloff Farms, the very place where Amy had once built her first marriage. To fans, their love story was more than just a romance, it was redemption. Amy had found peace and Chris had become a symbol of fresh beginnings. They traveled, they laughed, they hosted live sessions together, a couple grounded in maturity and mutual respect. But beneath the smiles and the public appearances, rumors were beginning to swirl, quiet whispers about Chris's past, about things he never spoke of publicly. For years, no one paid attention. Until now. In late October, the peace shattered. An anonymous tip landed in the inbox of a popular LPBW gossip blog, complete with documents, photos, and a chilling claim. The sender alleged that Chris Marek fathered a child decades ago, long before his marriage to Amy, and that this secret son had recently made contact. The shocking twist: the man allegedly demanded $1 million from Chris in exchange for his silence. Screenshots of supposed text exchanges circulated on fan pages. One message read, "You know who I am, you know what I want, don't make me go public." Within hours, speculation exploded. Was it blackmail, a scam, or the dark truth Chris had tried to bury for years? For a man known for his honesty and calm nature, this revelation felt almost impossible. But the internet doesn't wait for facts, it thrives on emotion. By the next morning, hashtags like Chris Marek Secret Son and Amy Heartbroken were trending across LPBW fan circles. Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. For Roloff family latest news update, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Before he was Amy Roloff's husband, before Little People, Big World cameras captured his every move, Chris Marek lived a life far from the public eye. His reputation was that of a calm, successful real estate agent in Oregon, professional, composed, and seemingly without scandal. For years, fans saw him as the grounded presence Amy needed after her painful divorce from Matt Roloff. But now, that carefully maintained image is being questioned. Chris's early life before fame has always been somewhat of a mystery. Born and raised in Oregon, he built a reputation as a dedicated realtor with decades of experience, known for his charm, friendly nature, and sharp business acumen. Colleagues described him as dependable, confident, and deeply private, someone who kept his personal life separate from work. While Amy's life was broadcast to millions through LPBW, Chris remained largely off camera until their relationship became public. But even as fans fell in love with his steady personality and his romantic gestures toward Amy, there were always whispers, small, scattered mentions online of a past relationship that didn't end well. For years, these mentions went unnoticed or dismissed as internet noise. That is, until recently. It all began when an anonymous tip surfaced on a popular gossip blog known for uncovering hidden celebrity stories. The tip claimed that a man now in his 30s was alleging to be Chris Marek's biological son. According to the source, this man's mother had a relationship with Chris decades ago, long before his connection with Amy or his time on Little People, Big World. The message hinted that this was not just a rumor, but a secret that had been buried intentionally. What made the claim impossible to ignore, however, were the proofs that soon followed. Within days, the same blog published several old photographs reportedly showing a young Chris with a woman whose identity matched the alleged mother. Alongside those photos were screenshots of personal messages, some between the alleged son and a man he claimed was Chris himself. In one message, the supposed son wrote, "You left before I was born, I just want to know why." The response, allegedly from Chris, was short and vague, "It's complicated, I wasn't ready back then." Whether these messages were authentic or fabricated remains unverified, but they spread like wildfire across social media platforms, from Reddit threads to Facebook fan pages dedicated to Little People, Big World. Fans began dissecting every post, every interview, every photograph of Chris and Amy, looking for signs, hints that Amy might have known about this before the news broke. Many fans asked the same question: if this was true, how much did Amy know? And if she didn't, how could something this big stay hidden for so long? Others speculated that Chris's silence might not be an admission of guilt, but a cautious attempt to protect Amy from unnecessary pain or public embarrassment. After all, the internet has a way of magnifying even the smallest rumor into a full-blown scandal. But the alleged son wasn't content to let the story die. According to additional reports, he claimed he had tried to contact Chris privately for years, sending letters, emails, and even visiting old addresses tied to Chris's name. When those efforts went unanswered, he said he felt forced to go public, not for fame or money, but for closure. Still, what caught the public's attention wasn't just the accusation, it was the timing. The claim surfaced just as Amy and Chris were preparing for their next chapter, celebrating another wedding anniversary and discussing expanding their travel vlog project. To some, it felt like an orchestrated attempt to disrupt their happiness. To others, it was a long overdue truth finally coming to light. As social media debates raged, older interviews with Chris began resurfacing. In one clip years before the scandal, Chris mentioned that he had lived a full life before meeting Amy, including relationships that taught me hard lessons. Fans quickly latched onto that quote, interpreting it as a subtle acknowledgement of something deeper, perhaps a family secret that never came to light. By the time the story reached major entertainment outlets, speculation had turned into frenzy. Headlines questioned everything from Chris's honesty to Amy's future with him. Some fans defended him, insisting that everyone has a past and that the timing of these accusations was suspicious. Others demanded answers, arguing that transparency was the only way to protect Amy's reputation from being dragged into the mess. Whether the allegations are true or not, one thing is clear: Chris Marek's once quiet past is no longer quiet. What was once a mystery tucked away in the shadows has become a very public, very emotional storm. And as more evidence circulates and statements from alleged insiders surface, one question remains unanswered. Was this a buried secret finally coming to light, or a carefully crafted scheme to destroy everything Chris and Amy built together? The next chapter of this unfolding saga will push both their marriage and public image to the brink. When the news first broke, few could have imagined how deeply it would shake the Roloff family, but at the center of it all stood Amy Roloff, blindsided and heartbroken. According to multiple insider reports, Amy had no idea that anything like this was coming. After years of rebuilding her life following a painful and very public divorce from Matt Roloff, Amy had found what many believed was her second chance at love. Chris Marek had seemed genuine, patient, kind, and the complete opposite of the chaos she once left behind. Their marriage was built on laughter, compromise, and what Amy often described as a foundation of trust. But now, that trust appears to have been shattered overnight. Sources close to Amy revealed that when she first heard the claims that Chris allegedly had a secret son who was now demanding money to stay silent, she was stunned. At first, she reportedly thought it was a cruel rumor designed to destroy her marriage. But as the whispers grew louder and supposed proof began circulating online, Amy's world tilted on its axis. Friends of the couple have said Amy spent days avoiding calls and refusing to leave her house, choosing instead to process everything privately. Those close to her describe a woman torn between disbelief and heartbreak, unsure whether to defend her husband or protect herself from more pain. What makes this situation even more painful is Amy's history. Fans remember how vulnerable she was after her split from Matt, how she openly shared her struggles to move on, to trust again, and to find peace in her next chapter. To have that fragile peace threatened now feels like reopening old wounds. And Amy isn't facing this alone. Her children, Zach, Jeremy, and Molly, have reportedly stepped in, fiercely protective of their mother. Zach, who has always had a close relationship with Amy, is said to be particularly upset. Sources suggest he's been urging her to take things slow before rushing to defend Chris publicly. Meanwhile, Jeremy, though more private and removed from the public eye, has apparently been the voice of calm, encouraging Amy to focus on facts rather than online noise. Molly, the most private of the Roloff siblings, is said to be quietly supportive, checking in regularly from her home in Spokane. But make no mistake, this ordeal has brought the entire Roloff family under emotional strain. It's not just about Amy and Chris anymore, it's about how this news has reopened old family tensions that have never fully healed. For years, fans have watched the Roloffs navigate heartbreak, divorce, and changing family dynamics. But this situation feels different, more personal, more uncertain. There's a sense of collective unease, not just among Amy's children, but among the fanbase that has followed her journey for nearly 2 decades. And the internet hasn't stopped buzzing. Fan theories have exploded across social media with divided opinions. Some believe this entire Secret Son scandal could be a setup, a manipulative scheme meant to exploit Chris and Amy's fame. A few fans argue that someone might be fabricating the story for money or attention, pointing out inconsistencies in the so-called evidence that has surfaced. Others, however, believe there's more to the story, that Chris's past may indeed hold a secret he's been afraid to confront. They argue that his silence, rather than clearing his name, has only deepened suspicion. Online discussions have dissected every statement, every photo, every social media post from both Amy and Chris, searching for hidden meanings or emotional clues. And in the middle of this whirlwind, Amy's online behavior has only added fuel to the fire. Over the past few days, she's posted a series of cryptic messages on Instagram, brief quotes and reflections about trust, truth, and betrayal. One post, shared just a day after the story first surfaced, read, "Sometimes the hardest truth is the one we never saw coming." Another message followed shortly after, "Trust can be rebuilt, but it will never look the same again." Fans immediately flooded the comments with concern and speculation, with some asking directly if her words were about Chris. Others praised her strength and reminded her she's been through worse and come out stronger. Still, Amy has not issued any official statement. She hasn't confirmed or denied the rumors, a silence that many interpret as emotional exhaustion, while others see it as a careful, deliberate choice while she searches for answers. Meanwhile, insiders say that even though Amy is trying to remain composed publicly, she's been leaning heavily on her close circle of friends, including Lisa Dixon, her longtime confidant who's often appeared on Little People, Big World. Lisa, according to one source, has been Amy's rock through this ordeal, encouraging her to focus on her mental health first before making any big decisions. Behind the scenes, however, the tension appears to be growing. A family that once came together for holidays and milestones now finds itself facing another emotional crossroads, one that threatens to undo years of healing since the Roloff divorce. The situation has even reignited memories from the past, when Amy and Matt's split divided the fanbase and turned their family life into tabloid fodder. Fans who have watched the Roloffs for nearly 20 seasons say this new revelation feels like déjà vu, as if history is painfully repeating itself. But there's one thing that seems clear: Amy Roloff is determined not to let this break her completely. Those close to her describe her as hurt but strong, quietly preparing herself for whatever truth may come next. And yet the question lingers: if this claim about Chris's secret son turns out to be true, what does that mean for their marriage, for Amy's trust, and for the fragile peace she's worked so hard to build since leaving Matt Roloff and starting over? As fans wait for answers, one thing's certain: the Roloff family has been thrown into another storm of emotion, loyalty, and doubt. A storm that could either tear them apart or bring them closer than ever before. But as Amy's cryptic post hinted, truth always comes out. And when it does, the world will be watching. As the story deepened, what began as whispers of a hidden connection between Chris Marek and a supposed secret son suddenly took a darker turn. According to multiple emerging reports, the heart of this unfolding scandal lies not just in the emotional shock, but in a staggering $1 million demand that has left both fans and insiders stunned. Sources close to the situation allege that this so-called secret son didn't just come forward with claims, he came prepared, reportedly reaching out to Chris through a lawyer, presenting what he described as proof of his connection to the LPBW star. But that wasn't all. Alongside the documents came an ultimatum: pay $1 million or the story would be taken straight to the media. The alleged demand, described by insiders as a blackmail attempt, instantly raised red flags for Chris and his inner circle. While the man's identity has not yet been confirmed publicly, his legal team's tone was reportedly firm, suggesting that if Chris did not comply, they would go public with their claims, possibly selling the story to a tabloid or online outlet. But if there's one thing longtime fans know about Chris Marek, it's that he's no stranger to challenges. According to those familiar with the matter, Chris refused to pay a single cent. Instead of giving in, he is said to have immediately reached out to his own team of attorneys, choosing to handle the matter quietly and legally. Behind the scenes, things may now be escalating. Legal experts have noted that blackmail and extortion are serious criminal offenses under U.S. law. If it's proven that someone intentionally tried to extract money in exchange for silence, the penalties could be severe, including prison time. Law enforcement, some sources suggest, may already be involved, as the situation threatens to spiral far beyond a simple family dispute. For Chris, the issue goes far beyond the money. This is about his reputation, his integrity, and the trust he spent years building both with Amy Roloff and with the public. Viewers have come to see Chris as calm, collected, and deeply loyal to Amy. He's been her rock since her painful divorce from Matt Roloff, standing by her side through all the public scrutiny and the pressures of reality TV life. So when a scandal like this emerges, it doesn't just threaten his image, it risks shattering the fragile peace Amy finally found. For Amy, who has openly shared her insecurities and fears about love after heartbreak, this kind of revelation must feel like déjà vu, a painful echo of the past she thought she had left behind. Still, not everyone is rushing to judgment. Online, the LPBW fandom has been sharply divided. On one hand, there's anger, some fans expressing disbelief and disappointment, questioning whether Chris has been hiding something all along. On the other, there's compassion, with many defending the couple, urging patience, and reminding others that gossip can often twist the truth. "Let's wait until the facts come out," one fan wrote on Reddit. "Chris has always seemed genuine, he deserves the benefit of the doubt." "I can't imagine Amy going through this again," another commented. "She's been through enough heartbreak, I just hope it's not true." Meanwhile, speculation has exploded across social media platforms. Threads on Facebook fan groups, LPBW discussion forums, and even TikTok have all dissected every rumor and screenshot. Some users claim they've seen leaked emails or legal documents, though none have been verified. Others point out inconsistencies in the Secret Son's story, suggesting the entire thing could be an elaborate scam targeting Chris because of his growing public profile. Still, the mere possibility of truth behind the $1 million demand has kept the story alive. And with the mention of lawyers, potential investigations, and media threats, it's clear that this situation isn't just gossip anymore. For Amy and Chris, the next steps will be critical. If the allegations are false, clearing their names will take time and emotional strength. If law enforcement becomes formally involved, that process could stretch on for months. But one thing is certain, this shocking turn of events has shaken their lives in ways neither could have predicted. As this legal drama unfolds, fans are left watching and waiting, hoping that amid the chaos, the truth will finally come to light. In the days since the story first broke, a thick silence has settled over the Roloff world. What began as whispers on gossip forums has now grown into a full-blown media storm, yet, at the center of it all, Amy Roloff and Chris Marek have chosen to remain quiet. Sources close to the couple suggest that they are currently taking time apart, not out of anger but out of necessity. Amy, who has always worn her heart on her sleeve, is said to be completely heartbroken and emotionally drained. Friends claim she's focusing on finding clarity before speaking publicly or making any decisions about her marriage. It's said that she's not rushing into conclusions. Those who know Amy best describe her as determined to uncover the truth, to understand whether this alleged secret son claim holds any real substance, or if it's part of a cruel manipulation targeting her and Chris's reputation. Meanwhile, the man claiming to be Chris's son, the one who allegedly demanded $1 million in exchange for keeping quiet, has vanished from the public eye. His supposed lawyer has stopped responding to inquiries, and the social media accounts linked to the allegations have gone completely silent. Some insiders believe law enforcement may now be involved, though no official confirmation has been made. This eerie silence raises more questions than it answers. Was the story fabricated to exploit Chris's fame and Amy's emotional vulnerability, or is there a deeper truth that's being carefully managed behind the scenes? For TLC, the network behind Little People, Big World, this couldn't have come at a worse time. With talks of potential spin-offs featuring Amy and Chris, and longtime fans hoping to see the couple's new chapter after Matt and Karen's engagement, this scandal has thrown everything into uncertainty. So far, the network has made no official comment, neither confirming nor denying their awareness of the allegations. Industry analysts suggest TLC may be in crisis mode, quietly assessing the reputational risks. If the story gains further traction, it could directly impact future contracts, promotional deals, and any planned appearances by Amy or Chris. The network has a long history of walking the fine line between real family conflict and reality TV storytelling, but this situation feels different. It feels personal. And for longtime viewers, it's impossible to ignore the tragic familiarity of it all. Once again, a deeply private pain has spilled into public view, echoing the same emotional turmoil that defined Amy's divorce from Matt years ago. From property disputes and family fallouts to tabloid speculation and heartbreak, the Roloffs have lived their lives under a microscope. But this time, the stakes are higher. There's no show script to soften the blow, no producers to frame it as a storyline. This is real life, messy, raw, and unpredictable. As it stands, Amy has reportedly stepped back from filming commitments and social events, choosing instead to spend time with her close friends and her children. Zach and Molly, according to reports, have been offering quiet support, urging her to stay strong and grounded through the chaos. Chris, on the other hand, is said to be cooperating with legal advisors to clear his name and address the claims directly. Friends describe him as calm but shaken, aware of how quickly public perception can turn, especially when fueled by half-truths and speculation. And while neither side has spoken publicly, it's clear that whatever happens next will determine not just the future of Amy and Chris's relationship, but also how the Roloff family is perceived in the years to come. This moment, heavy with silence, uncertainty, and the weight of public curiosity, feels like a crossroads. For Amy Roloff, it's another test of resilience. For Chris, a battle for truth and reputation. And for fans of Little People, Big World, it's yet another reminder that behind every smile and storyline, there's a very real family facing the consequences of fame. At the end of the day, whether this claim turns out to be true or not, one thing is certain: the Roloff world has once again been shaken to its core. For Amy, this could mean facing yet another heartbreak, one she never expected after finally finding peace in her new chapter. For Chris, it's a fight not just to clear his name, but to protect the life and love he's built alongside Amy. And for fans, it's a painful reminder that behind the cameras, behind the smiles, even the most beloved TV couples carry battles we may never fully see. The truth will come out, it always does. With that said, thank you for watching, and until next time.